All right, so we're going to do a little unit on graphics to end the year. So in order to do this, you need to remember a few things. You have to remember that when you instantiate an object, you put the name of the class, the object's name, then new, and then the constructor. Okay, then we move on. So dude is pointing at the actual object. Okay, I have all these notes for you, so if you want to look at them a little bit closer, if you forgot some of this stuff, you may want to. Okay, so constructors, remember this side here is the constructor side, and this is the side we're going to use a lot here, just to create circles and squares and things like that. You just need to create them briefly. So you only need that one side a lot. Let's see, moving on. I gotta do quick. Okay, constructors. Again, you know that you use this in the scanners, the scanner class. You've done this before. And this is our constructor call on this side. This is the reference side on this side. So you're going to see a graphics runner in the files that I give you. It's going to set height and width of a J-frame. So a J-frame, well, we're going to go through that in a second. But so the graphics runner is the constructor that you have to run in order to create these things. It's the first thing that you need. It's extending J-frame. We didn't really get to the extending piece that we wanted to do, but you just have to include it. It's nothing you guys can't get through. Okay, so the J-frame is set. It's the frame of the actual graphic, and then you're going to put a canvas on it, and then you're going to draw things on it. Okay. So, for example, here, if your height is 640 and your width is 640 and your height is 480, this is how big your size is going to be. You can draw a circle here, do some stuff, but you also have to make sure you set visibility to true. So there's a few things you should check to make sure that you have to make sure that things are running. And then here in the main where everything begins, so remember you need a main for everything to run. Your graphics runner will run this piece in order to have visibility on certain objects. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So you have a J-frame here, that's the frame piece, and then you have a canvas on the inside, which is your J panel. So basically a frame is needed to put the canvas on. That's all it really does. It just gives you a spot to put your canvas on so that you can draw your objects on it. You can't draw objects on a J-frame. Okay, so for example here, if we want to do some circles, we create a class called circles that extends the canvas because we need to have all these things as part of that canvas. Create the window, constructor here, and then we set our color and our circles and we draw them, and it's all this good stuff. So I'm just kind of showing you the pieces. I don't want to bore you with the video because you usually fall asleep anyway with me. But at this point right now, if you would go in and check, you can pause it here, I guess, and check your graphics runner and undo the circles comment if it isn't commented right now, and check out, change some of the things. Okay, we're not looking for you to be super graphics, creating Frozen 2 kind of thing. We just want you to be able to draw a circle right now. Can you draw a circle in a different spot? So try those out. Okay, so different methods that you can have with graphics. We have our set color, draw string, which draws a string, like a word. That's your S, and then it puts it at spot XY, and we're going to talk about what XY is in a minute. Draw oval, the position that you would draw the oval, and then how big you want it. Same with fill oval. So an oval that would be full. This one just gives an outline of one. This one actually fills it up. These are the, let's see, make them a little bigger. These are the imports that you need to have. The graphics one, the color, and the J-frame all need to be included in order for you to run these. Excuse me. Doesn't sound good, does it? Okay, so so you're going to be using set color, so you need to have it as you know, an object to work on. So in this one is called window, dot set color, and your color is red. You can change this piece, change the color there. Okay. Sorry. Oh, my bad. Okay. So I just did this one. Okay. So most, if not all, graphics require parameters, okay, because they need to communicate with the graphics in order to know what needs to be done. So when you set the color, you know, you need to say to what color. It needs to have that parameter, that's all. But you'll figure that out as you play with it, and that's really all I'm looking for you to do. I don't want you to be afraid of trying things, because you always have the file, like the file that's on the shared or in the Google Drive, that you can just take down again if you screwed up so much you can't figure it out. Okay, so this is really a lot of programming, kind of figuring things out. I want to do this, how do I do this? And you just kind of have to go and experiment. So this is kind of what we're working on here, expanding your mind a little with your brain power. So same deal with the rectangle. So then we have the rectangle piece. We have the location is the XY location, and then you have the width and the height, how big you want it. So 30 and 70 aren't big. They're basically little tiny pixels or millimeters. So even less than millimeters. So experiment with the size of them so you can see how big you want them, and that kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, this is just stuff you already know. This is kind of rudimentary stuff with constructors and parameters and things like that. But it's good if it's a good review for you also. So here's another one. You draw a line. This one is like one point to the next point for drawing a line, drawing a rectangle, location, and how big you want it. Again, you need those imports in order to do these. All right, so let's talk about the location. So it's not like an XY axis or coordinate plane. Well, it is like it, but it's all positive. So this is the corner we start from, because this corner is always going to be here, obviously. So X goes to the left. Oh my God, I suck at left and right. X goes to the right, and just to the right. So here is 0, and then it goes bigger, and this particular one would be 639, would be your X coordinate. And then Y goes down. So since Y goes down, it's positive going down. So maybe that'll get weird to get used to, but I think you'll get used to it in a minute. So 1050 would be 10 for X and 50 down for Y, and that's where the starting point is going to be for your graphic. And then 3070 here would be, it'd be 30 for the width and then 70 for the height, and you can kind of experiment with that and see how it works for you. Passing parameters, you guys know how to do this. This is why I'm not spending a whole lot of time on it, but you can draw your ovals, and this one drew a circle because the height and the width were the same. But you can just see how these work and just manipulate them, play with them, see what fill does, etc. Okay, so the way your graphics runner is on the BlueJ that I gave you, on the documents that I gave you, you're going to pick an example that you want, but they've already written them all out. So all you have to do is uncomment them and they'll show up. Just remember, it's only going to run one at a time. So it's the last one that's commented that's going to show up. Okay, so for example, this, okay, it's just going. Sorry, it's just going down. Here we go. So this particular one is running a rectangle. Okay, and the one that you have has a whole list of them all commented out. You just uncomment them, go to the location that the class is in, and then just play with it, run it, and see what happens. So you could check out the rectangles one, and that's it. So you could run the lines one. It's all the same thing. So there's a whole bunch of different ones. This document does have some of the notes. So draw an arc, fill an arc. It tells you the XY, it tells you what they are, but also on the documents, they also have what these XY, WH, start angle, arc angle are. So you can play with them, manipulate them to draw your image. Okay, and then we have all of these different ones that you're going to want to check and play with a little. So give it a shot, see how it goes, and I'd like you to draw an image, something simple like a house or a tree or a face, smiley face, and just do your best using at least 5 of the objects here. So we have our, colors. Obviously, your colors isn't one of them, but different fonts, arcs, lines, rectangles, ovals. So use 5 of them to draw an image. All right, have fun.